All right, have and have not fans. This is the episode review for A Change of Heart, which came on last night. If you saw my Loving You Is Wrong video, I posted around 9:20, basically during the airing of the episode. You know that a mixture of things, just being ticked off that once again they pushed back the date for the premiere of If Loving You Is Wrong, just like they did last year. And on top of that, I got Disney Plus finally, and I was having fun watching movies and shows I haven't watched in years. So I know what I'm going to be doing for the next several days. I mean, $6.99 ain't bad, and I know they'll probably increase the price at some point, but I'm going to enjoy it while I still have it. I mean, I get a free week trial, which is more than I could say for BET Plus, which I do believe was only a 5-day free trial, and plus Disney Plus has more options. Now, with that being said, A Change of Heart. Let me say it this way. Did I enjoy it more than last week? Yeah, I did. Remember last week's episode, I gave it a 3 out of 10. But I want to, once again, I'm trying to change my demeanor here, make it seem like, I still have the energy for the show so I don't turn away fans. But this episode, while better than last week, it wasn't that amazing, and the score I'm going to give it, I know some people are probably fed up like, Jeremy, come on, dude, what's going on? I gotta give the episode a 4 out of 10. I know you're probably, Jeremy, what the hell, man? You're just, what is up with these scores lately? And it wasn't because the episode was terrible, but I think this episode suffered more than usual, because what I'm about to say isn't an unusual phenomenon within Tyler Perry writing, but was it just me? Or did this episode just have an extreme amount of repetition in the dialogue? Between almost every single character, the same line of dialogue was repeated almost like 20 times. Like at the beginning of the episode, Jim and Hannah, the only saving grace of this scene was the fact that when Jim tried to pull a Mr. Jim, Hannah was like, no, Jim Cryer. I'm like, okay, good. You got the nurse coming in trying to get Hannah out of there, and then, Jim's telling her to go. It's like, man, please, come on, you have to go. It's like, you did this to my son. Oh, you demon. And then it's like the same back and forth. Then when Jim's, saying, hey, I need something to make me feel better, some morphine and whatnot, it's just the same old thing. It's like, go. Okay, I'm going. It's like, sir, I'm going. The same dialogue over and over again. Hell, even when Sandy and Mitch are on the phone talking about, giving Benny a ride. It's like, no, I'm not going to do it. And it's like, just back and forth. Hannah talking with, actually, no, that wasn't too bad. Jim and Celine about the money. Justin, all of his dialogue was, please, no, I'm sorry. Forgive me. What will it take for this to stop? I got money. The same piece of, and then even with Veronica's like, no, get off my lawn, get off my property before I call the police, go. It's the same dialogue over and over again. I know, look, guys, I get it. If some people are turned off from the show, I'm not going to apologize, because this is my truth. And I feel like more so than ever, this is season 7. Please, Tyler Perry, do better. If I went back and watched the episode in subtitles, most of the dialogue would just be either short sentences or a couple of words. So all that's to say, that really made the episode a bit boring for me. But let's just go through the review, okay? All right. Jim tells Hannah that Benny's gone, and she gets into bed and beats on him. And this is where I feel like, aside from the repetitive dialogue, something didn't just feel right with me. It didn't sit right. And maybe this was my personal interpretation of the acting in this scene, because Hannah wasn't acting like someone whose son just got killed over the phone and she heard it. It just felt like it was a telephoned in performance. However, if my interpretation is wrong, perhaps she was acting in such a way where she didn't fully believe that Benny was actually killed, because she kept saying, you better not have hurt my son. And Jim was like, he's dead. Did you not hear it and everything? I'm just like, yeah. I mean, literally, like, didn't I what was it? After Benny was stabbed, by the surgeon, and then Hannah and Candace were both at Catherine's house. When Jim called her a bitch to her face, Hannah had far more fire in her eyes when she was whooping his ass then. In this scene, it just didn't feel like it was real, you know? Like, again, I could be misinterpreting the scene itself. And let me know if you felt a different way, but it didn't feel like she was reacting to her son being killed. It just feel weird. Like, she was throwing, like, you know, those granny purse punches. I mean, yeah, that's right, because she was even throwing her purse at Jim as opposed to, you know, kicking his ass. Like, was it because he was in a hospital bed, or was it because she was afraid of repercussions? Yet she had no hesitation whooping his ass at Catherine's house. And yeah, Candace was there too, but Candace ain't do shit compared to what Hannah was doing. So I don't really know why that scene felt off to me. But again, let me know if you felt a different kind of way about it. All right, then, you know, he kept going on. And I feel like Jim was just, you know, crazy as hell this episode. It was kind of funny. I'm not going to lie. Morphine, bitches. And he does have a point. So many crazy women coming into his room. Maybe he shouldn't have fired that security guard. But then again, he didn't really do much anyway. But when you name drop the Malones, what can you do? Not to mention, Celine comes in there. Oh, excuse me. I'm jumping ahead of myself. Let's go to the next scene. Okay, so we see that Akil shot at the ground. And then Sandy and the Malone crew come in, save Benny. Benny gets up acting all big and bad, punches him in the gut, and it's like, hey, so what are you all doing here? Did Mitch send you? Yeah, you know, we owed your sister a favor. So guys, remember Mama Rose, well, Mitch told Candace that Mama Rose / the Malone family owed Candace a favor because she delivered Warlock to him, okay? I always said that if you look back at the episode where Uncle Vinny was first introduced, he said, okay, yeah, we owe Candace Young a favor. When he loaned Benny the, Lord have mercy, I think I forgot how much it was. Was it $40,000 for the tow truck, right? Was it $40,000? I think it was $40,000. And look, if I'm wrong, don't go at me, because I've done like 50 videos on that damn number, but I just don't care at this point. I think it was $40,000. I was like, yeah, that was the favor right there. It was cashed in when he was allowed to borrow the money. But based off what Sandy said, it seems to me that the favor that Candace was owed has been paid off because Benny was saved. And then we get to the racist bullshit because he doesn't want to give Benny a ride, let alone use his phone. And then Benny's gone. And when Mitch is called by Sandy to let him know, hey, it's done, we got him. He acts like, oh yeah, Benny just ran away. And then it's like, no, you're not going to let him use the phone. You're not going to let him ride in your vehicle. And if he does, it's going to be in the bed of your truck. And I'm like, okay, I'm kind of glad Tyler Perry didn't show that because of the fact that, yeah, you were skating on very thin ice with the whole Mr. Jim routine during Black History Month last Tuesday. The last thing we need is to see a scene where Benny's being put down and told to get in the back of a truck because, you know, the racist Malones don't want him to ride in their vehicle. So good on you, Tyler Perry. I'll give you a semi-props for that. Or maybe the fact you didn't want to show Benny in the vehicle at all, because remember, he was said that, you know what, I'll just give him a ride back to the bar. How about that? And we don't even see that happen. So yeah, but either way, they teach Akil a lesson because of the fact that when you're dealing with hostage situations in the Malone territory, you got to clear it by them first. So there we go. After that, let's see. Yeah, Candace says that she'll call Hannah as soon as Benny is safe and sound, which we know is a lie because of the fact that later on, within the next couple minutes, I'm skipping over the Madison Jeffrey thing for now. Hannah gets home upset. She calls the police station. And as soon as she is finished up there, she gets a call from Catherine. And she talks about how she's upset that Jim had Benny killed. But then Benny, Mitch, and Candace all walk into the house. And they basically, you know, embrace each other. Yet that contradicts what was said earlier because Candace said she would call Hannah as soon as Benny arrived at the bar. So that obviously didn't happen. Once again, contradictions, moments between scenes. But Hannah says something very profound. We're going to give the money back right now. Right on. And I see nothing wrong with that. And if anybody says otherwise, you're crazy. All right, so after she picks up the phone and talks with Catherine, she's like, no, don't get the money back just yet. Come down there and come to the jail and see me, because obviously she's hinting towards the executive situation. That way, only one trip to the bank is needed. So, Benny, I don't feel like going. I've been through a lot. I'm going to lay down. Bust this dude in the freaking head. Benny doesn't even have to be there, because remember, this is Candace's bank account. Remember, this isn't the joint bank account. The money is in Candace's. So Benny, you know what, Benny? Sit your ass down. You ain't got nothing to say. He has nothing to do with this. So at this point, Candace is telling, let's get the money back. And Mitch, I believe, Mitch was like, let's do it. And I'll do a separate video on this, but okay, so Hannah's like, okay, I'm going to go throw some water on my face because she's distraught. The poor woman is distraught. She's been through a lot in the past several hours. Okay, so soon as she goes to, I'm assuming, the kitchen, to quickly splash the water on her face, she's like, okay, we're all going to go take care of this. But once again, Benny does not need to be around. This is something that only needs to be done with Candace. So, but then I can understand, because Hannah's like, I can understand Hannah wanting to keep an eye on her children until the money is sent back. That way she'd be like, Jim, the money's in your bank account. Don't even say a damn thing to me. Don't come after my children again. This is it. So yeah, even though Benny technically isn't needed for the money transfer, I do understand why Hannah's like, hey, let's all go together. Okay, that makes sense. So while she's in the kitchen, this dumbass is like, okay, let's go. Let's get out of here. Well, where are you going? We're going to go to the airport, put you on the plane, and get you out of here. What the hell is he thinking? Mitch and Candace are trying to talk sense into this guy, because, like, Benny, if I go, he's just going to keep coming back. No, I ain't worried about him. Punk ass Benny. No job, no car, no money. You just got kidnapped and you could have been killed. And keep in mind, as I said earlier, we can assume that the favor that Candace was owed by the Malones has been cashed in to save Benny. So if Benny gets into some shit again, I highly doubt that the Malones would be willing to help him out. What are you going to do, Benny? What are you going to do? Oh yeah, you can physically beat Jim. You've proven that. But he has all these contacts. You got stabbed, you just got kidnapped, and you almost got killed. Sit your ass down. So he convinces them, and they leave. And Hannah, who I don't know why she didn't just look out of the door, because she comes back into the kitchen like, hey, you all ready? And there's nobody there. I'm like, you're not even several feet away from the front door. If you would have went to the door, you could have caught them before they pulled off. Because I'm like, the time between they left the living room from when Hannah came back from the kitchen, I'm pretty certain she could have ran outside to the car before they got in, buckled up, cranked the car, and left. And instead, we're spending 45 seconds like, I know they better go down that damn bank. And I'm like, we're wasting time. So once again, a boring ass scene where Hannah was the voice of reason. Pretty much Benny. I don't even know why they're listening to Benny. All right. So then we go over to Charles and Conley, and he asks Conley to be the attorney general. And once again, Jeffrey Owens just lights up the room. I just love seeing this guy act. So basically, Charles asked him to be the attorney general, and we get the seeds planted because remember, Kyle, the current attorney general, is the one who's been gunning for Candace. So basically, he wants Conley to go in there, ask some questions, find out some information. So this explains why Jeffrey Owens is going to be a prominent character for at least 10 more episodes. And I'm here for it. I cannot wait to see what happens next. So this was a very good scene. Once again, I just love seeing Jeffrey Owens and the dynamic he brings to the show. Then we go over to Jim and Celine, and before this episode review, I recorded yet another Celine video talking about the child support and how it makes no damn sense that she's almost broke. What did she say? I'm working 2 jobs. And remember, David told that one doctor to get Celine fired for Jim's sake. So yeah, she's probably going to have 1 job soon. And then her and Jim's 2 sons will be kicked out on the street. which makes no sense because it was mentioned in a prior episode. I believe it was episode 59. He was giving her $22,500 a month, aka $270,000 a year in quiet hush money, basically child support / hush money to, hey, okay, I'm a judge married to a rich socialite in Savannah, Georgia, and we have 2 sons together, so shut the hell up. And that was the money for Carlos and James. So after 18 years, that would have been $4,860,000. After 21 years, that would have been $5,670,000. After 27 years, which I think is the age of Wyatt, that is $7,290,000. And it was mentioned that Celine was their maid for 28 years and Jim and Catherine had been married 28 years. So assuming that the affair took place within the first year of marriage and Celine was pregnant by Jim, that would have been $7,560,000. So basically $7.5 million. Where the hell the money, Celine? Where the hell is the money? And that's really all they talk about. And once again, I did a video breaking that down, so make sure you check that out. But long story short, don't underestimate women. I'm going to come after you. She calls Veronica. And this what kind of car do you drive? What year is your car? Is it leaking oil? Don't bring it into my driveway. Veronica with the clapbacks again, just looking down. If it isn't a homosexual, she's looking down at the poor. It's one or the other with her. So Veronica and Celine will meet up in the next episode, as we saw in the preview. After that, we go over to Justin's place. And like I said at the beginning, oh yeah, we're at Spanish Moss Trail. Veronica's goons are there, and they're there to basically kick Justin's ass, and he hasn't even healed. See, if Justin would have kept his ass in the hospital, there's a good chance this may not have happened as soon as it did. Because remember, eternal bleeding, bruised ribs, how he's even managing to walk is beyond me. But then again, we got David walking around after being in that car explosion like there's no trouble with his back at all. So, I mean, he's probably still wearing the burn suit underneath his clothing, but you know what I mean? It's ridiculous. He gets punched in his stomach once in exchange for $4,000 cash. So no telling what he's going to use to pay his bills, because despite Pearl being rich, his family being rich, he got cut off. So, and plus he's on suspension or whatever. Yeah, not to mention, when the hell is there going to be a follow-up on his suspension from being a cop? Remember when Jim walked in on Wyatt basically about to go down on Justin for drugs, and then the police captain didn't do like a search on Justin in that moment. So instead there was an investigation and Justin was suspended as a result of that. When are we getting follow-up for that? So probably never. But in any case, I mean, he did say he had a 401k, but aside from that, I don't know how the hell he's going to pay his bills. But either way, he's still going to find a way to blame Jeffrey for it. So whatever. I mean, hell, I'm surprised. To be honest, I was surprised. Like, none of the goons would have said, like, no wonder Veronica wants your ass beaten. Got all these pictures of her son on the wall like that. Remember, that was something we saw way back when Jeffrey first went over to Justin's place. Then we get Landon and Charles together. This was a good scene. Landon showing Charles all the positive articles that have come out about Candace since that article he put out, not too long. What was it, like earlier that morning. And they kind of recap everything that went down, because I had forgotten at that point Charles got rid of Candace when Landon wasn't around. Like, Landon was in New York City trying to stop the story from breaking originally, but he wasn't there. So that's when all things went to hell. And then he listened to Oliver, and that's when, yeah, it definitely went south. And it's like I've been saying for the past few weeks here. Despite, even if Landon is able to spin the story, it's all going to come down, as Charles said last night, it all comes down to whether or not Candace wants to come back, because he treated her pretty bad. Like, denying knowing about her past and whatnot on TV is one thing, but their face-to-face interaction was not a good last meeting with each other. So I can definitely see why he would be hesitant to say that, hey, Landon, you're doing a good job, but I don't think it's going to work in the long run. But we'll just have to wait and see. And, Landon even brought up a past flame of his, thinking it's Jeffrey. And plus, we got a Maggie Day throwback. That was pretty cool. But we'll just have to wait and see. They're going to work on it, and we'll see what happens next. Wyatt and Catherine, he apologizes, saying that, he'll want to go back to rehab. He wants a doctor, which he knows is an act. He calls Catherine mom. If I am not mistaken, or was it mother? No, I think he says mom in this episode, but I think it was like in episode 3 or 4. This was like early in the show, of course. It was like when Wyatt was at the cryo state. This was when he was still in rehab, but him and Jeffrey were at the cryo state because Jeffrey was his counselor. He called Catherine mother, and I think the thing about it was that Wyatt was trying to tell Hannah to go down to like the pharmacy or whatever to give him some pills, and then Catherine catches what's going on, and she says, "Oh yeah, that's how the last maid got fired, because Wyatt tricked the maid into saying, hey, I'm prescribed to these pills, and he used them to get high." So the maid went down there, got the pills, brought him back, he got high, and then the maid got fired. So, Hannah was saved from that thanks to Catherine's intervention. And Wyatt called her mother, and it's like, see, that's how I know you're up to no good, whatever you call me mother. So when Wyatt was like mom, I guess you could say Catherine was able to catch on to his BS and pretty much said, do you really think we're not going to press charges after you tried to kill us? Basically, Wyatt once again being shut down and delusional. So that was a pretty funny scene in itself. And after that, we get Veronica and Justin. Once again, a lot of repetitive dialogue. But the one line that really just, wow, it's like, deep down, I'm not a bad person. You hit women and you have sex with men. You're a vile person. And I'm like, damn, that was cold. Ice Queen in full effect. The basis of this scene is that it's never going to be over. Veronica is never going to forgive Justin, and he's going to suffer until he dies. Like, he said, I don't know how much more of this I can take. That's the thing. I feel like, every time Veronica sends those guys over, it won't be to kill him. It'll just kind of take him to the brink, where he's about to die, but he doesn't. And that's going to continue on and on and on. And to be fair, the $4,000 is probably a lot more than what Veronica was paying. So, And Veronica rocking the red bottoms. I noticed that. I know somebody posted that in the Facebook group, and then I actually noticed it when I watched the episode. So she is bad. All right. We get George going over to David's place. Long story short, file folders and all this information to link Veronica to many crimes. And remember that Veronica's fingerprints were on the gun. So the gun that killed Jennifer Salson, Veronica actually took the gun and pointed it at David. So if that was used against her in court, that would actually hold up. Now, on top of that, David was like, I might be linked to some of these crimes, and I might know some things I didn't dispel in court. And, basically in order to gain immunity, he would hand all that stuff over to George, who is skeptical over the whole thing. And yeah, while he may not be as great a DA as Jennifer Salson, he is smart enough to smell a setup when he sees it. So I get it. I mean, he knows how formidable Veronica is in court. So in order to bring her down, he needs solid evidence. And what did he say? Video footage? But David obviously doesn't have any, so no telling how they can get that. But I don't know. But here's the line that really killed me. Okay, come over to my office tomorrow morning with all this stuff, and we'll see what we can do from there. When the hell is tomorrow going to be? It took 8 episodes to finally get to the next day, because this entire season is taking place, the same night as the shooting, at Catherine's house and at David's house. And then we finally get to the next morning. So then to actually need to make it until the next day, it's probably going to be episode 19 of season 7, if not season 8. And not to mention, there's no telling what's going to happen between now and then. Who knows if David's going to be alive? Veronica might have another scheme at work. I don't know. But going back to earlier in the episode, Madison and Jeffrey, is there anything really to say of Merritt here? Are you attracted to me? And it's like, well, yeah, but I want to respect you. I don't want to be respected. What, do I have to act out like Justin? Is that what it takes? They start flirting, then they start kissing, and then we get to the end of the episode where David walks in on it too, and everybody's going ham on it. All these sex scenes are too much, and damn, Madison's blowing Jeffrey's back out. I have nothing to say about it. I just thought it was funny, the responses to it. David's face like, oh yeah. All right, so that's pretty much the episode in a nutshell. 4 out of 10. I know these scores are low, but like I said, it's season 7, guys. I'm not letting this stuff fly anymore. Like, the scores reflect how I feel after watching an episode. And after episodes like this really does solidify why I'm not as interested in watching the show live as I used to be, because you really don't miss that much. The same repetitive dialogue, dumb character moments like Benny, and we go from there. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Make sure you hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so already. Hit the bell notification icon so you don't miss out whenever I post new content. Follow me on social media. Links to everything in the description box below. And do you agree with my score? What was your favorite part of the episode? What was your least favorite part of the episode? And what are you most excited to see next week?